Did he
Yeah,
go over 20 yards? Nah, he didn't do it. He didn't do that shit. No, he did that shit. That shit was great. I remember that game.
It was 201 yards. So, but the
Yeah.
reason I bring that up is because the Ravens are also a bird team. So,
A bird team?
So, yeah, they're also a bird team. They're like their mascot is a bird. So speaking of the Bengals, like I said, they host the Falcons this week. They're trying to get over 500 for the first time this season. They've had a couple opportunities and they've kind of screwed it up every time. But we've talked about I've talked about for the last couple of weeks that the way this season's starting reminds me a lot of how last season started. We've already seen them get off to the slow start. We've already seen them, lose a few games by last-second field goals. And we talked about this on the last episode, we saw them finally cross the 30-point mark in Week 6, just like they did last year. Now, it's time to replicate what happened in Week 7 last season. Do you remember what happened in Week 7 last season, Thomas?
That the game that Jamar Chase had 189 yards against the Ravens. He just went off against some mofos.
I actually don't remember what his yardage was in that game. But
y'all played the Ravens. Y'all just tore them up. Like y'all just made them. Y'all just made them your daddy. Y'all just dad the Ravens. Baseball this weekend. I know what I'm referring to.
We beat the hell out of. By the way, don't forget a very healthy Ravens team. Don't forget, this was a healthy Ravens team. They were missing J.K. Dobbins, but they missed him basically all year. But we beat the hell out of a healthy Ravens team, more than we beat them later in the year. We still beat the hell out of them later in the year, but we beat them by more when they were healthy. And Ravens fans try to act like it's not fair because of course you beat the Ravens because we had no players, but you had plenty of players in this one. All right. And Lamar Jackson had maybe not the best game of his life, but he didn't throw an interception at the end of the game or fumble at the end of the game or do everything he's been doing this year. Overthrowing receivers for, sure touchdowns and stuff like that. And Thomas, what Jamar Chase did last year is he went for 201 yards.
That's what it was. It was 200 yards. I was like, did he go for 200 yards? I couldn't ask myself. Did he go over 20 yards? Nah, he didn't do it. He didn't do that shit. No, he did that shit. That shit was great. I remember that game.
It was 201 yards. So, but the reason I bring that up is because the Ravens are also a bird team. So
a bird team.
So yeah, they're also a bird team. They're their mascot is a bird. So Week 6. The Bengals finally get their offense, going to the point. It's a little bit of a slow start. It was also a bit of a slow start in Week 6 last year. A little bit of a slow start, but you still managed to finally cross that 30-point mark. And you're starting to see the vision of the offense kind of come together. And that's last week. This week, I'm not saying they're about to drop 40 on the Falcons. All I'm saying is they did it last year under the same circumstances against a team that, quite honestly, I view last year's Ravens similarly to where I view this year's Falcons, because this year's Falcons, it seems like the Falcons are a trash team, right? But you've seen it firsthand. While they might look trash, the fact of the matter is, they're winning more than you would expect them to. So the Ravens of last year and the Falcons of this year, I think, are in fairly similar spots. I think we really could potentially be poised for an absolute statement game from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Man, yes, I agree. I'm just looking at these rosters right now. I'm looking at these stats on both teams, on the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Falcons. I agree. I literally don't know how the Falcons are going to stop y'all.
If you want to talk about stats, they've given up the most passing yards in the NFL without comparison. They haven't been allowing a ton of points, which I think is the reason how they've been winning games. They're kind of like the Bengals defense. The difference is the Falcons, they have the 7th most interceptions in the NFL right now. whereas like the Bengals are just kind of like stopping teams and like allowing field goals and stuff. So it's like Joe Burrow's going to need to be careful in this game. Although I will say he has only thrown one single interception since that disastrous week 1 outing against the Steelers. And that was, the one that I complained about on the podcast. It was the one against Patrick Queen where he tried to force the ball to Jamar Chase and there was like triple coverage. It's just like, what the hell are you thinking? But outside of that one really completely isolated incident, that was a really stupid decision by Joe Burrow. He hasn't thrown an interception since week 1. You said you looked up the Falcons' schedule. Like how are they doing? Like as far as like how many points are they scoring? Are they having some high scoring games?
Let's see. They haven't scored 30 points yet this season.
Oh boy, yeah. This could be. I hesitate to say it's going to be this just because it's the Bengals and they have a tendency to not make any sense, just like the Falcons have a tendency to not make any sense. But it feels like it has all the makings of a blowout. Like a complete and utter blowout.
I mean, why would it be
like something like what the Bengals did to the Lions last year, which I guess wasn't a complete and utter blowout, but it was definitely like, after a slow start, it was a total like annihilation.
You know why I think it's going to be a blowout? Kind of what you referred to earlier. I think Jamar Chase is about to have a game this week.
I do too.
I think Jamar, because all right, so he had a good game last week. Yeah, that touchdown was so smooth. Like Jamar Chase is like, come on, man, he's so good. I hate the fact y'all got him. I like that guy. Like, fuck y'all for getting that guy.
You know what? I understand where you're at.
Like Cleveland right now. Like right now, I'm in a city where we got a lot of talent right now. Like we got Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. We got Jose Ramirez playing third base and Stephen Kwan, who's the next Ichiro. We got Nick effing Chubb and Myles Garrett. And a quarterback who we don't want to really talk about. And then we got this, and then we just got nobody at receiver. We got nobody at receiver. Cooper, you fine. Cooper, you fine. Cooper, you all right. But, like, come on, man. When will we ever have a good receiver in my lifetime?
Donovan Peoples-Jones?
He had the catch. He's not
like elite, but he's good.
He had a good catch this week. He all right. Every time I want to hate him, he makes a good play. I'm like, all right, you know what? That was a good play. I can't hate, but that was a good play. He had a really nice catch this past week, man. He had a really nice catch. Like he's gonna look really good when Deshaun plays too. That's for sure.